Hi students, welcome again to ASOC Tutorials India, a platform for learning amateur radio operator certificate license examination in India. And today's session is Introduction to Semiconductor. So I am continuing today's session. First, you have to remember the physics lesson learned in the school in 9th, 10th, 11th standards. So, first giving a recall, conductors, semiconductors, and insulators, they can be distinguished on the ground of their conductivity and other properties. Conductors, like metals, show conductivity at room temperature, but as the temperature increases, their conductivity gets reduced. However, semiconductors act as a insulator at low temperature, but as the temperature increases, so their conductive property also changes. However, insulators have no such effect of temperature variation as they do not have the conducting properties. Insulators and conductors can be solid, liquid, or gas, and in some exceptions, like glass in the form of solid, which is an insulator, becomes conductors when melted at high temperature. So that one you keep it in mind, this is recollect only. And on the other hand, semiconductors are present in solid form. This is general. Liquids can be conductors or insulators, depend on other properties. Though absolute pure water is an insulator, the liquid metals are electrically conductive. Gases also become electrically conductive when ionized, though they usually are insulators. Conductivity is the phenomenon of transmitting something like heat, electricity, or sound. So, based on the conductivity of any material and the presence of a forbidden gap, the materials can be classified as conductors, semiconductors, or insulator. Conductors and insulator already described in previous session. So this topic described ST22 will be differentiating the three terms concerning other points, and moreover we will continue with semiconductors now. And coming to continuously, if you see their elementary, their resistance power, specific resistance, insulators value have in several mega ohm, they are not allowing to pass electricity. On the side, conductors, their specific resistance is lesser in ohm, they are almost conductor. And semiconductor in between, if you see in your screen, materials like silicon, germanium, and of course you can add gallium arsenide, but I'm not going to focus the GAS, but other two I'm going to discuss, have electrical properties somewhere in the middle between those of conductors and an insulator, and they are neither good conductor nor good insulators, so they are conditionals. They have very few electrons because their atoms are closely grouped together in a crystalline pattern called a crystal lattice. But electrons are still able to flow, but under special conditions like heat, lights, thermal emission, and other parameters are there. Now coming to continuously, if you see the atom of silicon, in the last orbit, you may find 4 electrons. Here I want to say you, I have made this describe on a semiconductor by putting the objects in a logical reading order so that you can listen as well as read for better understanding quickly. So this is the reason whatever I am speaking you may find on screen also. So coming back on atom, there is a condition to stabilize the rule of 8 or octet. I know most of students know this, I'm not going to discuss in details. To stabilize or non-reactive, there should be 8 electrons in the last orbit. This is the rule. So for they have now to make 8, they have two options: donate or collect or share. Donate, collect require more energy, so sharing is an easy task. So what happened? For last orbit, 12 electrons, they will share with similar silicons. You can see on the screen. So result, everybody have 8 electron. If you see center one silicon atom, for they are sharing with others. Now same structure. If you see in big one, this will be look like this type. Now, if you focus this pattern, number one, everyone have 8 electrons, everyone is stabilized condition. So this is look like a insulator because no any hole or electrons or deficiencies available to pass through. So depend on thermal or other reason, there will be randomized breakup and again they will unit. So this kind of semiconductor is not useful. It is purest form. So this is called intrinsic semiconductor. Going in detail now. So this intrinsic semiconductor I am going to discuss first. So already I told you they are purest form. This will look like insulator. So it is better you read it also. It will help you. Not going in details. So this kind of semiconductor not useful except in special application. So to make useful, I need to add some impurity. So this impurity is very much required to make them useful, and to make extrinsic this after adding impurity, this is no more intrinsic semiconductor, this is extrinsic semiconductor. And in extrinsic semiconductor, lot of electrons and deficiency of electron called holes are available, and this is no more insulator, it is purely conductor because moving elements are available. If you see periodic table, they are coming under 14. You may see, just I am highlighting, they are coming here. And to add them, to make impurity, we need aluminium, gallium, indium, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony. They are just plus or minus 1. How they are working, just going to discuss further. The process of adding to semiconductor atom in order of one impurity atom into millions of atoms is called doping. Doping is a technique to make intrinsic semiconductor to extrinsic semiconductor. This is the doped silicon and this is no longer pure as I told you. So these donor or acceptor atoms are collectively referred as impurities. Keep it in your mind. And by doping this silicon material with a sufficient number of impurity, we can turn it into N-type or P-type semiconductor. How? Going to discuss further. First, if you see millions of silicon atoms surrounded, you can see in center I have kept one atom with 3 electrons, as you see in the center in the screen. So this 3 electron crystalline structure, and the examples are aluminium, boron or indium. Now there is a deficiency of 1 electron. Watch carefully, there is a deficiency of 1 electron, or in other words, there is a deficiency of an electron charge, I mean negative charge. So if negative charge deficiency, then excess is positive charge. So this is excess of positive charge, so this is called P-type semiconductor. On other side, now I am adding pentavalent. Now instead of 3, there are 5 electrons in the last orbit. See in the center. Example, arsenic, antimony or phosphorus. Now there is excess of one electron, or in other words, excess of one electron charge. So electron charge is negative. So entire body is called negative. So this is called n-type semiconductor. And this single electron is roaming here and there, disturbing the structure and moving totally. So both of structure p-type and n-type, they are conductors. So they are no more insulator, but they have property. Later was at present independently they are purely conductor. And this one is called extrinsic semiconductor. Now I am going to use individually how they work. First, coming to the p-type semiconductor, as I told you, if we add a trivalent 3 electrons impurity into the crystalline structure such as aluminium, boron or indium, which have only 3 valence electrons available in the last outermost orbit, so they will never allow fourth to settle. Therefore, the semiconductor material has abundance of positive charge carrier, also called holes. But here you have to remember, holes are nothing. It is a lack of electrons. It's space, a free area where electrons can come, vacancy, that is called holes. So many students are confused. I am trying to rectify them, correct them. So these holes in the structure of the crystalline where electrons are freely missing. So this movement of holes results in a shortage of electrons in the silicon, turning the entire doped crystal into a positive pole or positive structure or bar. As each impurity atom generates a hole, trivalent impurity are generally known as acceptor because it is accepting, they are ready to accept. Keep it in your mind, this kind of question may come. Trivalent p-type semiconductor is acceptor or donor, they are acceptor. So on the bottom I have shown a symbol of p-type so that you can understand further slides. So positive holes being called majority carrier because positives are more and others are minority carrier because electrons are shortages here, so they are minority carriers. Because this is p-type semiconductor, so p-type materials holes are in majority. On other side, n-type just reverse. First we had taken pentavalent 5 electron orbit, example arsenic, antimony or phosphorus. Now free electrons are available because there is excess of electron, and this is because they are ready to donate. Anybody can take it, nobody is taking it, that is different matter. So they are called donor type. So this will keep it in your mind. And result number one, electron is excess, so negative charge is excess. So this kind of electrons are called majority carriers. On other side, holes are minimum, so they are called minority carriers. So both carriers are conductor, both carriers have their own role. So understand. Now you see bottom I have shown n-type and p-type. Now going to connect them. What happened? The moment, see on your screen, the moment I connect p-type and n-type semiconductor as a bar, opposite charge will attract each other, and they will come in the center. So in the center, because the p and n type carrier, they have neutralized each other and they will not allow further to pass through. So this is a region called depletion region. They will not allow to pass further carriers, maybe electrons, maybe holes. So this is now a barrier which is stopping. But this barrier itself have some values. For silicon, it is 0.69 something, we can say 0.7, or for germanium it is 0.23, I can say 0.2 or 0.3. Actual value you see in books. So now see the case study. What happened? Initial state, this is the PN junction going to connect a power supply, and now I have to give a power. Positive at one terminal, negative and other terminal. For instance, if you see on diagram, I have given a positive supply to P terminal and negative to N terminal. See on the screen. Now positive to P, there is a repulsion. minus to N, they are same charge, there is again repletion. And because power supply is more powerful, so repletion is towards depletion region. So this pressure is toward depletion, and this depletion region will be reduced, and maybe it will break up. And once it is a break up, all electrons are ready to jump it, and this will work as a closed switch. This will work as a closed switch, and they will allow to pass every electron, so they are conductor. This is called, also called forward bias. Now, case 2, reversing power. Now, p-type with a negative, they have attractions. N-type semiconductor with positive side have attraction. Because both sides have attraction, so these carriers will attract towards power supply. The depletion region will be more wide. It will not easy to pass through this power supply. This p-n junction will work as a insulator or open switch. No current will flow from the battery or energy source because all carriers are towards opposite side, and this depletion region will be wider one. This depletion region will be wider one, and it will stop to flow unless there is a sufficient high energy which can break depletion region and damage permanently to the structure. No current or voltage will flow. This is called a barrier. This is called a barrier. So that you have to understand. Now here, what do you learn here? First, see the screen. I told you clearly, this PN junction, when we make a symbol, the symbol is above as a blue color as a diode. This positive type side is called anode, and N type negative side is called as a cathode. We have to provide positive supply to anode and negative supply to cathode. Then only it work and call forward bias. Otherwise, it will not conduct. That image you keep it in your mind to understand what is forward, what is and under what condition it will work or not work. So first, in p-n junction diode, when p-type connected to positive terminal and n-type connected to negative terminal side, this supplies free electrons to the p-n junction and called forward bias and working. And this system is working as a closed switch. You see the diagram I have shown you. This is closed switch. Entire energy will go. On other side, if you change the polarity, you see the image again. Now anode is negative, cathode is positive. Just I have reversed the supply. So in this case, in p-n junction diode, when p-type connected to negative terminal and n-type connected to the positive terminal, this does not supply free electrons to p-n junction and called reverse bias. In reverse bias, no electrons, no current, no voltage flow unless there is a breakdown due to abnormal high voltage. So that is different case. I will explain and describe you later. But this kind of structure will not allow to current, and the circuit, this p-n junction or diode will be have as open circuit, open switch. So you have this image in your mind, then it will be very easy to understand how diode is working as a half wave rectifier, full wave rectifier, or even signal detector, etc. Just understand it. Now, a small homework question. Discuss with your teacher that if PN or NP junction is called diode, they have two terminal. Then if I change their connecting system like showing you here, it is still NP or PN junction. But number one, you have to clarify this is active or passive, or previous one was active or passive. And one more thing, Instead of two terminal, now this is three terminal. How this two or three terminal in PN or NP junction work? How I can say it is diode? It is not a diode. Then what is this? You discuss with your teacher, and of course I will come some other time with answers. But before I give you answer and explanation clarification, it is very much important you must know it. So this is end of my today's session. Next session will be on rectifier. So before you go through rectifier, it is very important to understand what is PN junction and how it is working. So thank you very much. If you like it, subscribe it. If you had doubt, directly mention in YouTube. So thank you very much. Good day. See you in next session.